This story was posted by an account named The Sun Disappeared on Twitter. Of course, for those who wish to see the original story, the account link is available below in the video description. I will summarize the story and make some slight changes to it, so those who want the original source can go to the link. The important thing is that this account tweeted its first tweet on 30/4/2000, and the 18th tweet contained just one word: help me. After that, the account owner continued and said it was getting late in the morning, but the sun. After that, the whole world was in darkness. I can hear the sound of sirens warning of storms and tornadoes from the neighboring county, but the radar shows the weather is clear. Where did the sun go? Currently, I'm following the news, and everything seems turned upside down.
With violent riots taking place in just about every major city, we are receiving an influx of reports of ransacking and looting from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Washington, D.C., with hundreds more isolated incidents leading hourly. The president made a public statement this morning urging people to remain calm and stay in their homes. Meanwhile, experts are claiming this phenomenon to be in a bit similar to New England's dark day.
The electricity keeps going out every now and then. There are many strange noises outside, some distant and some nearby. I even hear sounds like those of vehicles or airplanes, and I also feel like I hear gunfire. I can't sleep. The world is still dark around them. In the news, they said that things would return to normal by this time, but so far nothing has changed. Even the news has disappeared, and I can't receive any TV signal. Although I am very scared, I went outside. I stayed at home for a long time, and I couldn't take it anymore. I saw something strange outside. I don't know what it was, but it was a red light flashing in a strange way at a high altitude. I felt like the light started following me, so I immediately went back home, and indeed my suspicions were correct. A light followed me to a place near the house and then stopped. I stayed in the house for a while. 3 days passed, and now since the sun disappeared, it's been dark ever since. I'm very scared to go out as there was someone running around. In front of the house there were lights similar to the ones I saw following us. After that, the account owner stopped tweeting and returned the next day, saying the transmission was cut off for me yesterday, and I was afraid it wouldn't come back. There was a period when there was no movement or sounds outside the house. It's been a while since I last heard a sound, but suddenly something flew over my house, and I recorded its sound for you. I was unable to see precisely what this object was, but as soon as the sound approached me, I sensed the temperature increase from 10 to 15 degrees almost instantly. The sound was extremely peculiar, resembling a large vehicle utilizing very massive engines, and it descended to a height close to the ground. The account owner then stopped tweeting for a short while, and came back again and wrote, "Thank God, one of my friends is fine. His name is Danon." Then my friend messaged me and wrote, "Hey man, tell me you're still alive." I replied to him and said, "Yes, I'm alive. Where have you been? Why did it take you so long to get in touch with me after I tried to call you about 40 times? He replied and said, "I'm sorry, the phone's battery ran out. And now, I finally charged it. You're still at your place, right?" I said yes, and he replied, "Great. I'm about 2 days away, but I'm coming." I told him I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I asked what he'd seen so far. He said, "Trust me, you can't imagine what I've seen." Then the account owner stopped tweeting again and came back shortly after on the same day. He mentioned we have another problem now. This person is standing in front of the house with his back to me, I have no idea how long he's been standing here. I sent the picture to my friend and he told me to stay away from the window, turn off all the lights and not to talk to them or let them in the house. If I see any lights, I should hide from them immediately. I followed his instructions and stayed away from all the windows. But then something happened. It scared me a lot. Is there someone knocking on the door and trying to open it constantly? I went to my room and hid there. I stayed there for a while until the knocking sounds at the door stopped. I will never go near the front door of the house. I'll stay here with this light bat to defend myself. If anything happens or someone comes in, my friend Danny messaged me shortly after. At 2 o'clock he told me, "Look, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I am closer to you. The bad news is that I ran out of gas and there isn't a single gas station working nearby. Even the electricity is out everywhere and all the gas stations here use electric pumps. This is quite discouraging, and I started thinking about whether I should leave the house or stay in it. Then I heard screams and strange noises. Are they coming from outside?" I wasn't sure whether to go out or stay. At home. Now, I'm sure it's better to stay home. I stayed in the room for a while until I saw something like a light from my window, so I'm going downstairs to see what it is. I can't believe I'm still alive. I don't know what made me see the light, but I was curious and I feel like when it noticed me, its color turned red, so I went down right away. I went and messaged Daniel and told him about it, and he asked me if I looked directly at the red light, right? I told him no, because I didn't see it directly, I just took a picture of it. Then he asked me what the name of the street we lived on when we were kids was. I asked him why, and he said, "Just answer the question." I told him the name of the street is Fraser Street, and he said, "All right, that means everything is fine." I replied, "My friend, don't scare me like that." I continued browsing Twitter afterwards and got in touch with a person named Takrar. Takrar told me that he lives near a big city, and when the sun disappeared and the world started going crazy, he left the area and distanced himself from people. He told us he met another person named Flynn, who informed him that there were things chasing and capturing people. Takrar said he didn't believe him at first. Then he noticed that the crowded streets they used to avoid had become much quieter, and the world suddenly seemed empty. He and so-and-so kept looking for dark places to hide. One day, so-and-so went out to relieve himself, and afterward, he started saying things that didn't make sense. He kept messing things up, and I felt that the immense pressure we were living under was causing him to start losing his mind. Several days passed in this state, and honestly, I became afraid of him. He even stopped talking, and even when I tried to speak to him, he didn't see me until there was a period where he stood like a statue for 12 hours and then suddenly attacked me. I tried to push him away, but he wouldn't relent. I had to stop him. I had no other way. The story of Ticker frightened me even more. And on top of that, the knocking sounds on the door of the house returned. I hear them faintly while I'm sitting in my bedroom upstairs. Impossible. I won't go down. I'll stay hidden in the room and stop the account from tweeting for a while, and then it wrote the thing that was knocking on the door. It entered the house. I don't know how they could have broken the door. There was a light from the lights. The egg that glows inside the house. I stayed hidden until I felt the noises outside the room had calmed down and I felt safe in the house. I don't know what that thing or light that entered the house was, but I immediately went downstairs and found the front door open. So I quickly closed it and placed cans by the door to alert me. In case someone opened the door and entered the house again, the weather started getting colder and the supplies and water I had were running out. I contacted my friend again and he told me he was very close to me. That particular night, I felt as though I heard the cans I had placed by the door moving, but I was dismissive about it and thought perhaps it was merely my imagination. I decided to sprinkle some fine powder on the floor to ensure that no one enters the house while I'm asleep. If the powder is disturbed or moved, we'll know for sure. One of the individuals I communicate with sent me this picture of a person or creature inside his house, and this picture gives me nightmares. On top of that, I still hear screams from time to time. I think the sounds are coming from the direction of the neighbor's house. The person who sent me the picture has stopped responding to me. Now my friend Dini is trying to reach out to me and ask me to remind him of my address. Honestly, I've become afraid, even of Dini, fearing something might have happened to him too. Everything in this world has become frightening. I hesitated and didn't reply to him for a while. Then he messaged me again asking, "Where are you?" "I'm waiting for you." "Why haven't you replied for a while?" I responded and told him, "Answer my question. In what year did we graduate from high school?" He replied to me and said, "My friend, we don't have time for these matters." I told him, answer my question. He then asked me, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm fine." He replied, "I'm sorry to say this, but I don't feel like I can trust you." I responded to him and said, "Me neither." We stopped messaging each other after that. Currently, I don't have water, so I've been drinking from the tap, and I have just a little bit of food left. On top of that, my mental state is terrible because of what happened between me and Denon. I slept a bit from the exhaustion I felt and woke up to check the powder. And this is what I found. The powder was scattered and had moved from its place. Someone was in the house. I don't know what or who it was. But that's it. I can't stay here anymore. I gathered my things and decided to leave. I had been thinking about this for a while. I'm going to the neighbor's house from which I had heard screaming some time ago. I will lower my head and move quietly towards it. I tried to knock on the door, but no one answered. So I opened the door and it was open, so I entered. It's clear that there's no one in the house.
Hello? Hello?
Tala, who is affectionately nicknamed Pepperbit, serves as a representation of the elimination of unnecessary words, acting as a filter, but also as an indicator regarding what follows when the school menu is presented, except for the film where all our boundaries are documented. How peculiar the current financial job and the existing actions of Foucault's financial individual are, to the extent that even I, Fitbit Al-Mal, am willing to establish the youthful heart for an entire year. We are inclined to not summarize the previous Betty. Comparing with the neighbor's emails currently, I feel bad because of what I did to my friend Denia. Once again, the account owner stopped tweeting and returned the next day to post a picture of a paper he found at home. He says, "I was walking next to one of the tables and saw magazines, and this paper was underneath them. Written on the paper in bold at the top was 'Remember,' followed by several points. The first one said, 'Do not look at the light.' The second point says, 'Do not move, because they can sense movement.' And the third says, 'Do not emit any light, because they can see it.' After I found this note, I thought there might be other instructions or notes written by the same person that could help me understand what is happening. I searched around the house, but I didn't find anything. I was feeling lonely. There was no response from the person I contacted before, and of course, we know the situation between us. All of a sudden, shortly after, Danny messaged me again and said, 'Look, I know we don't trust each other, but if you're still you need to get down and keep your head low. Disappear from sight by any means possible.' His words scared me a lot, so I took his advice seriously. But then the place was quiet and I didn't see or hear anything. Suddenly, without any warning, that thing that used to fly over my house before came back. And suddenly it started making a very strange and sharp noise, and the waves it was creating were shaking the entire place. I was trying to hide, as Danin advised me, but my curiosity made me peek a little and take a quick picture of the thing or the vehicle flying over the place. I quickly took a picture of it from the window and went back into hiding. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I don't know what this thing is, but all I know is that nothing good will come from it. Our friend says it has been 30 days since the sun disappeared and the vehicle is still there. Currently, I have locked myself in the bathroom because it's the only place without a window. Today, I woke up to this blue light shining from under the door, and I heard screams from outside as if someone was being tortured. But right now, there are no sounds, and the atmosphere is calm. Our friend returned and tweeted the next day saying, "The blue light stopped, and I came out of the bathroom. I think there's a body in the street. Sorry, but of course I won't take a picture for you." I tried to distract my mind a bit, and not think about the disasters happening around me. So I went and started looking through the books available in the house. I found this notebook, and when I opened it, I found some very strange words on the first page. It said, "I regret my decision to stay here. I feel extremely lonely. I have come to accept that I will most likely never see Martha or my grandchildren again. I pray that they are at least in a safer situation than I am. I no longer have any interest in my life at this point, but I hope that the information I gain from the suicidal experiments I plan to conduct will be useful to someone. Either I will die and find peace and tranquility, or I will gain more information about the current situation. I feel that both outcomes are excellent for me." The next page is titled Experiment Notes, followed by, "I placed several flashing lights around the house and started testing them at different intensities. I believe these creatures are more attracted to the lights than to me. I made sure to return home before they could harm me." The next page continues the notes, mentioning that after 6 days, a blue light appeared. This light doesn't seem affected by the lights I set up around the house. Unlike the creatures that emit white and red light, the blue light seems to be superior to them and also appears to come from a different kind of creature. In the last page, the notes continue, but it's clear that the handwriting has become very poor, as if the person writing it had gone mad or was experiencing severe tremors. It is written on the page, "Finally, it happened. I was reckless and looked directly at the red light. I feel an emptiness inside me. The sun came back again, and then the account owner tweeted saying the sun still hasn't appeared for me. I don't know what the person in the memo is talking about. I feel like I've gone mad, like the person named Flynn, whom I was told about." The next day, the account owner returned and tweeted a picture of a conversation between him and a man saying, "Tucker, I'm sorry I've been absent for a long time. The electricity was cut off from the place I was in, so I had to move to another place. I'm trying to reach the West Coast. That's why my signal keeps cutting out. I saw the picture you posted of the thing flying in the sky. If you see one of those again, go down as much as you can. And if you see the blue light, don't let it shine on you ever." I replied to him and asked why I shouldn't let it shine on me. What happened that made you say that? The story goes, "Taker, look, when I went out, I found someone trying to escape, and when the blue light shone on him, let's just say the scene was not pleasant at all." Our friend stopped tweeting for a few days. Then he came back and said the water in the house turned black. For now, thank God I was able to fill some bottles with water, but I won't be able to stay here once it runs out. I tried to contact Dignon and told him I was sorry. I hope he replies. It's been 20 hours so far, and he still hasn't responded. After that, the account owner stopped tweeting again. He returned after 4 days and wrote, "Guys, there's someone at the window. The place is completely dark. I can't see anything, but I hear a loud knocking sound on the window." And after a little while, the knocking stopped, and there was no sound. But whoever or whatever this person or creature was, I could still see it standing at the window. Then suddenly, the knocking came back stronger than before, as if this thing was banging its head against the window. I sensed that the knocking intensified significantly, so I swiftly concealed myself. They are presently inside the house, searching for me. I've been in hiding here for approximately 20 hours, but I believe they have departed. I need to inspect the house. When I initially went upstairs, I discovered a blood-stained handprint on the wall. The account owner took a break from tweeting for a period, then resumed and tweeted once more. They are still here, still upstairs, in the house. I took this picture quickly before I escaped. I think this person saw the red light and is currently in the transitional phase. The important thing is, I locked him in the room he was in, and I believe I'm safe for now because he shouldn't be able to get out. The next day I wrote another tweet and said, "Oh God, today I woke up and found the room door open. The person is here, walking around me while I'm hiding under the bed." After the car horn blared, I believe I heard the sound of a gunshot. Right afterward, I got a message from Madinin saying he discovered my Twitter account. I inquired if he was the one honking the car horn and if he was the one who fired the shot. He confirmed it. So I told him we have the same problem as before. How can I trust you? He responded, "On your 11th birthday, I gifted you a Lego bat set. That should be sufficient proof for you. Now get moving. Gather your belongings and leave." This was the last video or tweet our friend shared for 2 weeks. Then he returned and wrote, "I have finally come back and there are many things I need to share with you. You won't believe what I've seen. After the last video I posted, Dinya and I went to a remote place to escape all the activities these creatures and strange lights are doing. We distanced ourselves to the point where we didn't even have network coverage, but I was documenting everything important for you. Unfortunately, there were some disagreements between Danny and me, particularly regarding the documentation and publishing that I was doing. He was against me posting the events happening to me on Twitter. One day, we saw a storm from afar, and we saw the strange object or craft we had seen in the sky before, near the area where we were camping. We realized that the strange activities were approaching us again. I don't know why Danny is being so stubborn. It took some time to convince him that we should move from this area. After we moved from our old campsite, we walked for a long time until we found a suitable place to set up camp. The nice thing is that it was also close to the communication towers, so I was able to communicate with you all and update you on the events happening once again. Currently, Danine has gone out with the car to look for fuel that we can use for the journey. I am feeling quite exhausted. After composing the tweet for the second day, I proceeded to write once more, stating that I had just awakened and Danine still has not returned. I attempted to reach out to him via phone, but he has not responded for 12 hours now. I am beginning to feel concerned that something might have transpired with him, and that he might have left me. I am unsure of what actions to take. For the moment, I will remain inside the tent for a while and observe what unfolds. There's an issue, everyone. I am unable to see anything. However, I sense that there is someone moving around the tent. Then a light began flashing from outside. It feels distinct from the other lights. It's flashing in a manner unusual. Subsequently, I sensed that the creature or entity had vanished from the location. Now, I have charged the phone, and it is nearly depleted, even though there is still a significant amount remaining. Following this tweet, Our companion ceased writing for 2.5 months and returned on 09/30, then 2018, stating, "I have finally returned. I realize it has been quite a while, but I am back, and I do not have much time. At present, my battery charge is nearly exhausted, yet there is a nearby vehicle and I can see its door. It's making a sound which means the key is inside. The problem is that this area is warm, but the car is my only way to charge my phone and get out of here. On top of that, there are creatures and lights moving around in the area, but I have no other choice. I need to reach this car, and I need to go to a cooler area. I promise I will explain everything to you later." Our companion ceased tweeting. He returned the following day and wrote, "All right, I have now arrived at a colder area. I will explain the situation to you. It is evident that these creatures and lights we observe emerge from the vehicles present in the sky. These vehicles have particular flight patterns, and we can ascertain where these vehicles roam based on temperature. You usually find them in hot or warm areas, but in cold places, they are rarely found. What really made me upset was that after I opened my phone again, I received many messages from Danin, and it seems he really left me. He wrote in the messages that he was sorry for everything, sorry for leaving me, that he hadn't been fair in his treatment of me, and that he was scared when he left and didn't know what to do. He said he had some confidential information that got him into trouble with some people, and they are threatening to kill him if he doesn't give them the information they want. He said there were many things he wished he could tell me, but he couldn't. He apologized once again and said at the end of the message that if he wasn't dead by the time I read the messages, he would be at this location. He then sent me the coordinates of where he is. Honestly, I didn't know how I was supposed to feel, but even with everything he did, I felt that he was in a bigger problem than the one I was in. I remembered the years of friendship between us, so I felt that I should help him, even if I was upset about what he did to me. The problem is that the coordinates he sent are very, very far away. I tried to contact him again, but I didn't get any response from him. However, I can't leave him, so I will gradually move towards the coordinates he sent me. I got closer to the coordinates. Then I received a message from a Russian soldier saying, "I am a Russian soldier, camping with my colleagues at an old military base. We call these creatures light demons. We killed one of them recently, and then we fired at one of their vehicles with an old anti-aircraft gun, which caused them to attack our camp. However, we managed to destroy it with a tank cannon from one of our armored tanks. We later learned that any contact with its body results in death. More vehicles are coming. Moreover, the mothership started flying over our base, and it will crash on us if we fire at it with our cannons. I hope you spread this message, because this might be our end." After that, our friend stopped tweeting for more than a month, and then came back and wrote, "I feel like I was late for Danin. I haven't heard anything from him for a while. There's something else that feels strange, but I can't figure out what it is." Then our friend wrote another tweet. "Wait a minute. Many followers are saying I've been gone for a whole month, but it should have only been a week. Something strange is happening. I can't even remember how I got here to this place with water, but I feel quenched. I think I was drinking from this water. I'm trying to squeeze my brain to remember what happened. I wish I had tweeted more to remember what happened, but indeed, everyone, you are right. A whole month has passed. Of course, for those who didn't notice, the account owner has started repeating some words more than once. We've seen this condition before in some cases. When he started drinking from the black water. Anyway, he came back the next day and tweeted again, saying these pictures were taken 4 years ago, and for some reason, they were found collected in an album called Remember, but I don't recall putting them in that album. I feel like I'm going crazy, but I think I believe something, that I should stay here by the water. By the water. Tikresny just advised me to leave the place. And this is their way of attracting me through the water, because it is designed this way, but something keeps me here. I tried to leave the place, but I find myself coming back. I don't know what to do. I can't believe I'm still alive. Still alive. I exerted all my physical and mental effort to escape. I kept forgetting. Why? I must leave the place. But you helped me remember. Now I understand what people mean when they say they face things. A direct confrontation. It's not just about lights. You feel like they're looking inside your soul. Then Ticker messaged me and asked, "Are you okay?" I told him, "Yes, just a few scratches, but I'm fine." He said, "I meant mentally, not physically." I replied, "Oh, I don't know, honestly, I feel different. I swear I didn't see the light directly, but it's the first time I've been this close to one." "But what did you mean when you said the water is designed to attract me?" Ticker replied and said, "From what I have heard, the purpose of what's in the water is to make you psychologically weak and easily affected by the circumstances that happen to you. The question is, where does it come from? And why do I feel more confused after talking?" Ticker? It's clear that these beings want us to stay alive, at least the regular lights. Maybe the blue light is different, but the other lights seem to want to control us, or do something different to us. I don't exactly know what they want from it. The account owner disappeared for a while, and then returned at the beginning of 2019, and wrote that he has news about his progress to a place called Dinya. Currently, the fastest way to reach Dinya is through this highway. The only problem is that this route will make me pass through the problematic city, and it will take me much longer if I take any other route. I was very afraid to enter the city, but I went in anyway. I am walking cautiously and very slowly, and the car's tires are from Panda. There is no sign of life. I still don't know if this makes me more nervous or more at ease. Also, I noticed that a new picture has been added to the album called Remember. But I don't ever remember taking this picture, or when I took it, or even where I took it. I found some shops, so I took the opportunity to get myself some supplies. I also went on foot to get gas for the car. Thankfully, the place here is cold, so it's not surprising that there are no vehicles or lights in this area, but I feel there's something else strange, which is that there are no people in the city. I haven't seen anyone yet. Have you started gathering? Among many vehicles parked on the street, I returned to where I had parked my car and faced a big issue. 4 people stood in front of my car with their backs to me. I had no choice but to approach the car from behind as quietly as possible, try to start it, and escape before they noticed me. Oh God, they broke my arm before I could escape. The pain is really bad. Please help me. After some advice from followers, our friend thanked everyone for their support. I made a splint for my arm. Now, I am trying to rest. I drove out of the city. I need more time for my arm to heal. I still feel tired, and the pain is strong. I need all the strength I can get before I move towards the world again. Our friend then stopped writing for a long time and returned on March 13, 2019, with his last tweet to date. He wrote that he is now very close to the coordinates. It's been a long time since I last thought about the subject, but in the past few months I have been following this mission without thinking, yet I feel I shouldn't put myself in a weak emotional mindset again. The important thing is that I will continue my journey, and whatever happens, happens. This is where our friend's story ends, and this is the last tweet we have heard from him to this day. It has been about a month since he wrote it, and I don't know if he will tweet again or not.